Okay, so we have two ways that we can write equations of lines. We can either write them in point slope, or we can write them in slope intercept. Okay, so if we are, Charlotte, you can just put those on my desk. I'll know where they go. Okay, so we're going to do a little flow chart. Okay, so if you have this, you need to do this. If you have this, you need to do that type thing. Okay, so the first question you need to ask yourself is, do you have a slope? And I'm going to put M in parentheses because that is your letter that we use for slope. It doesn't matter, one of your pages, 26 or 27. You write it on whichever page you like. Okay. So that's a yes or no question, right? So yes, no. Now, if I don't have a slope, do we know how to calculate a slope? Yes, we have a slope formula. So if I am not given the slope, then I am going to have to calculate it. So I'm going to say M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You're welcome. Okay. So if I'm given the slope, you're good. If I don't give you your slope, you're going to have to calculate it using your slope formula, which is also up here on the whiteboard, which is also in your notes, which is also on your formula sheet for your exam. Okay. From there, I have to ask myself another question. Do you have a y-intercept? And I also put an example of what a y-intercept is. A y-intercept would be the ordered pair that would fall on your y-axis. So it's always going to have an x value of 0 and a y value of some number, whatever that number would be. That again is a yes or no question. So yes. I'm going to use slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So if I'm given the intercept, then I should use intercept. It has the same word in it. If I'm not given my y-intercept, then I would go to no, and I need to use point slope, which is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And those are the only two choices we have so far. There's a third one. We'll get to it next week. Those are the two that we can use. Okay? And I'm going to give you information. You're going to have to know which form to put it in. Okay? And then sometimes, once we put it in that form, we have to change it to a different form. MathXL likes to do that. Okay? Charlotte, do you want this? Okay, so we are going to go through a series of about 10 questions. Okay? So whichever page you want to put them on, or you might need to use both of your pages, I don't know. Okay, so I will group them so you understand kind of what we're looking for. So problem number 1, m equals negative 1/2, and I have the point 0.5. Okay, so I'm looking at this. Do I have a slope? These are questions you're going to go through.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do you have a y-intercept?
Yes.
Yes. So if I have a slope and a y-intercept, I'm going to use slope-intercept. It tells you exactly which one to use. There's my slope, there's my intercept. Which one is slope-intercept? Y equals mx plus b. So I would have y equals negative 1/2. Oh, wait a minute. I messed up. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. Don't forget, and this is what I've seen so far today, people are leaving off the x there. So they're just writing negative 1/2 plus 5. That's not correct. Okay? That's your answer. And you're done. Okay? Don't make it harder than what it is. And we're going to take notes today and then do an activity tomorrow with this, or understanding assignment. Okay? So if I have m equals negative 2/5, and I tell you you have a y-intercept equals negative 3. What if I write it out in words? So I don't have an ordered pair this time, but basically I spell it out y-intercept. So it would be slope-intercept method again. Okay? I give you the slope, I give you the intercept, that's slope-intercept method. So the equation would look like what?
Y equals negative 2 over 5x minus 1.
Okay, question 3. M equals negative 1, or slope equals negative 1, and you have the ordered pair 0, 0. So, do you have a slope?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I have a y-intercept if my point is at 0, 0? Yes, you do. 0, 0 is your origin. Doesn't that cross your y-axis? Yes. So when I write this, I would have y equals negative 1x plus 0. Now, there's all kinds of issues with that. What's one of the issues? Charlie? You don't need the 0, so this would be y equals negative 1x. How else could you write this?
Y equals negative x.
Yes. And that was one of the choices that you could have chosen for your project. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Okay, so those 3 examples there all used slope-intercept. That make sense to you? Okay? Yep. Okay, 4. Negative 1, 6, and 2, 8. I'm given 2 points. Am I given the slope?
No.
No. So when you look down through your flow chart, the first question is, do you have your slope? You are going to say no, and what do you have to do? find it. You have to calculate the slope. So go ahead and use the slope formula to calculate your slope. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to have to do is calculate that slope. And so we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we will have 8 minus 6 divided by 2 minus negative 1. Two negatives make that a positive. So we are going to have 2/3. That's your slope. That's your m. Now, if I want to write my equation, I have my slope, and then are either one of these points a y-intercept? No. So I have point slope form. There's a point, that's a random point, and a slope. So, does it matter which point I write? No, it does not. So we will have y minus 6, remember you take the opposite of them, equals 2/3 x plus 1. Or I could have y minus 8 equals 2/3 x minus 2. Do I have to write both of them? No, you just have to choose one. Okay, question 5. So there's my two ordered pairs. Calculate your slope. Okay, what do we get for the slope here? Let's see. Okay, so we would have 3 minus negative 1, and then negative 2 minus 5. Two negatives make that a positive, so you should get 4 over negative 7, or negative 4/7. Remember that that negative can be written out front. That's the preferred way to write that. Doesn't matter which point, so I would have y plus 1 equals negative 4/7 x minus 5, or y minus 3 equals negative 4/7 x plus 2. Okay, question 6. Okay, if I get a slope of negative 6/2, what should you do with that?
Simplify.
Which simplifies to negative 3. Or negative 3 over 1, which is still negative 3. Okay, if I put this in my equation, I get y minus 2 equals negative 3x minus 1. Or I get y plus 4 equals negative 3x minus 3. Now, both of those are in what form? Point slope, right? Okay, now I'm going to ask you to change one of them, doesn't matter which one you choose, to slope intercept. So in other words, that literal equation piece that we've done in the past, I need to make this a y equals. So how am I going to do that? Okay, I can distribute. That would be plus 3. And then I'm going to add 2 to the other side. We get y equals negative 3x plus 5. So that's changing something. You're going to have to pay attention. Where it gets confusing on Math Excel is it usually tells you what way it wants the line written. And it's usually slope intercept. Now, what should I get if I do the other point? If I do my other equation, should I end up with the exact same answer? If I change y plus 4 equals negative 3, the quantity x minus 3, if I change that to slope intercept, you should get the exact same thing. And so we get y equals negative 3x plus 5. Same thing. So it doesn't matter which point you use. They will all give you the same equation of a line. Nope. You only have to do one. So really there's 3 equations here. You have 1, 2, and then these go together. Those are the same ones. Okay? You have to read carefully at what I'm asking for. Okay, the last ones are special cases. What number are we on? 7?
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we get to special case, I want to do another one here. This is my bad. What if I just have m equals negative 1/3 and I have the ordered pair negative 2, 3? Is that slope-intercept or is that point-slope? Point-slope, because I didn't get a y-intercepts. So this would be y minus 3 equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. That's the easy one because you don't have to calculate your slope and you don't have to have an error with it. Okay? I did the 3 harder ones first. Okay, so now we're on special cases and we're going to start with problem number 8. And this is a special case. Can somebody tell me why I consider this a special case? Slope is 0 and the point negative 1, negative 4. And if you forget, you should turn back a page because it's in your notes. Why are these special cases? What are they going to graph as? Vertical or horizontal lines. And you have to remember which one gets graphed which. It was the most missed thing on the project also. So if I have a slope of 0, which way does that go? Horizontal or vertical? If you have a slope of 0, think about it. Can you drive on something that is completely flat? Yes, you can. So can you drive on a horizontal line or can you drive on a vertical line? Which one can you draw? It's a horizontal line. Okay, so if we're looking back at what we've done in the past, here's negative 1. Here would be my point, negative 1, negative 4. I need a horizontal line through that point. The hint I told you last week is, what axis does it cross? It crosses the y-axis, so I get y equals, and what's the y value in my ordered pair? Which one's the y value? So you just get y equals negative 4. Okay, so number 9, what if I have my slope is undefined, and I'm going to go through the point 4, negative 3. So it's going to be an x equals. It's going to be a vertical line, so it's going to be an x equals. Which value represents x? 4 or negative 3? Yes? Yes? So those are special cases. So what if I had m equals 0, and we'll go through the point negative 1, negative 6. Which one is that going to be if you have a slope of 0? Remember, is it x equals or y equals? It's y equals, and then tell me what the y value is. We'll do one more of the other ones. So if m equals undefined, and we'll give you the point, we'll give you a tricky one, to 0, 0. If it's undefined, you automatically know the equation is x. So this would be x equals, and what does x equal? 0. Doesn't matter if it's a number or not.